Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake Chats 2017. You will see here my broom. I have been applying myself in ways I haven't for quite some time. The koan was broken, and I'm feeling much more comfortable doing mundane tasks. Having fun. I made a quiche this morning, and it's only 7, so and that feels really good. I've sort of broken that all or nothing thinking and see that, increments are my friend. I'm not a big fan of increments, but I feel incrementally better and have since Thursday, and that's what I want to talk about. Partly because there is physical improvement. There's improvement in my daily life, so why not talk about it? Since Thursday, I have been through a process of really opening to feeling true compassion for yours truly. I got there by involuntarily having an inventory. It's a bit of a life review. I've tried to come to the screen during that time, and it was just impossible. It was really tough because I was processing, and it was tricky. I know in those places, though, even though I did come to the screen and talked, it wasn't time to express. It was time to be with myself. I felt really happy that by last night it seemed that the work was more set, and I was feeling more happy. I went to a wedding, and I'm really happy for my friends. It was good to be witness to it, and to be at this place in my development, and celebrate with these friends of mine. By Sunday evening, yesterday evening, I was in a sense of, really full appreciation for myself. Wow, and this sort of appreciation really does allow for full appreciation of others without needing them to behave in any certain way so I'll feel better about myself or them. Freeing. And I got a kind of a gander at how discombobulating I can be in a group, and how some people just can't get enough of me, and some people have trouble looking me in the eye, and I kind of get a feel for why, and it's all good. I've realized the last few days that I have really spent a lifetime paying full price for things that really were from the clearance bin, and that it's just been a different stance, and feeling all of that, just acknowledging it was the deal. Now that it's done, all I know is that I love myself more now than I did before, and I'm in even greater agreement now than before with those who I have loved very deeply, those I have had to part with, those who I was grateful to see the back of. And I'm left with me. This morning, making breakfast, my quiche, I put on Magenta Pixie. I did something new. Got up, I did something new. And I had been listening to a couple videos of mine. I reviewed one called Spiritual Badassery because I wanted to show it to my friend the other night, and I couldn't remember what it was because I wanted to tell her about, I wanted her to see what I thought of her and how she had inspired me. Me and Sunny were watching my videos, and that's like a hot fudge sundae with lots of cherries on top. For me to actually have a human being sit with me and want to watch a video with me, what? That's amazing. I am so grateful to her. I know you're watching, and I thank you. But to share that with a human being is a big deal for me. And I did one about her, and I couldn't remember what it was. So I watched that one. I watched Return of the Star People. And then I watched Magenta Pixie. Wow. She's worked really a lot on twin souls, and that's really been something I haven't been too excited about learning about. But what she talked about, what they talked about with this recording goes far beyond simple, oh, you are me and I am you kind of twin energy stuff. Talks about soul sharing, talks about walk-ins, talks about expansion, and it echoes what I have lived through, which basically is that as I have grown, and it's what Dolores Cannon has had, what she documented in her books, that it's not possible to carry this energy in youth. It's not appropriate. It's not appropriate. There is a veil of understanding and of developmental and cultural controls. It's in time that the soul can enter more fully into a person's life. I've discussed this. I've lived it. I'm a representative of it. But the way that they did the picture really helped. They said that, the ascension process, or enlightenment, or whatever you want to call it, DNA activation, because they said, after all, what is the soul? It is the DNA. How many souls are there? Well, you get to the core of it, there's one. There's one soul. So we have to keep reminding ourselves of that. There is one soul that individuates. So, is that as your basis? Then as an individual, they talked about codons, they talked about DNA, they didn't talk about biological coding, but, they may as well have. What they explained is that with this process, it's like you have a container of water with a very small drain at the bottom that is perpetually draining out a little bit. And then at the top, there is a spigot that is delivering fresh, clean, new fluid. And eventually, all that's going to be left is the new stuff. It's a matter of time. And when you get, like, maybe the spigot turns on full blast, and maybe the whole bottom falls out and then closes up real quick, so it's empty and then it gets full of something new, that's an expansion or a walk-in. Be quite just some combobulating for everybody involved. And both of those things have happened to me. And the one that is most profound happened when I was in my young teenage years. I was 12. So it was really great. And I'm making my breakfast thinking, I like my life. I approve of this. And last night I looked good. And I felt good. It's nice to walk around feeling approval for myself. I like it. It's a long time coming. So I wanted to just drop in and let you know what's going on. These are improvements, of course. And I was beating myself up all through this time, thinking, how in the heck can I get here and still feel like shit? Oh my God. Because it was tough. This was a real squeeze. And I tend to think of that as I'm failing in some way if I am having a hard time energetically. And I just really have got to stop that. What I mean by hard time, it feels for me when I'm in the middle of a contraction. I feel like I really am. I'm in the middle of old patterns, and yet I'm aware they're old and they're so uncomfortable, and I cannot see a way out. But it's like I'm covered in this brown, stretchy film, and I'm pushing against it, pushing, like I'm in a chrysalis or something. And it feels like I'm trapped. And I can't figure out how it is that I got there or how I'm ever going to get out. And I feel physically very uncomfortable. I've been having a lot of sensations that are unusual. And when I'm in that kind of tottering place, it's scary. Everything feels, there's so much fear and so much self-doubt and confusion. My mind is muddied, and I feel like I just have to I feel like an automaton. I have to just keep going and going and going because nothing feels right, nothing feels good. Why would I come and talk with you when I'm in the middle of one of those? They pass. They're purposeful. They're not all the time. And after I'm done with one, I like to remind myself that kind of feeling, I used to live there. That used to be where I lived. That much confusion, discomfort, doubt, fear, panic, self-distrust, such disappointment in others. Real big victim stuff. And, finally, the last few days, I allowed that to be legitimate. I stopped making fun of myself for having been in situations which really did change me because of deprivation and because of abuse, because of brutality and cruelty. Now, these were as formative as my times of being bathed in light. But it was honoring myself, all of myself, and no longer seeing myself as a victim. and maybe not even seeing myself as the author, but instead seeing myself as the final product of intense pressure, heat, and darkness. That's all. So, I look at myself in company with people my age and older. Oh my God, I'm not a typical person, and I like that. I really like that. I like that I know I am alive. I didn't sell myself out. And the times when I'm feeling really, really down, I'm there. I feel ground down by life, and I feel crapped on by reality and all that stuff. So I knew there was a shift underway. I kept doing little recordings saying just that. I'm in the middle of a shift. Mm-hmm. And now I feel complete. I do know that when there are expansions and when there are when there's moments of repose in this process, that I think, oh, I just want this to never end. I want to feel this way. And I remind myself when I'm feeling like crap, yeah, I'm going to feel okay again. I'm gonna. Just hang in there. But I say this because I know that there may be contractions again. But I do know that, mathematically, the contractions are so much different than they used to be. When I first visited the teachers in '92, I explained how I felt physically and what was going on in my brain and my life, and I said, well, you're in the middle of a contraction. And they explained I'd been in it for quite some time, a couple of years. Now my contractions last usually hours. For it to go on for days is unusual. But wow, the work I've gotten done and the effects are great. They're ticket to the bank. They're the real thing. So, I do realize that I walk with a lot of fear, and that's both from the collective and from my very own biology. And it's that I have confronted very gently and maturely and with kindness and sweetness and patience, and I've had good effect. There are a lot of issues, a lot of individuals, a lot of situations I'm noticing I'm just not thinking about anymore. And I'm not emotionally revving when I do think about them. And this is an insertive thought that's come to me in the middle of difficulty and the deep dark night kind of stuff. That if there's an emotional reaction to anything, it's mine. I'm attached, fighting against it perhaps if I'm in argument with it, but it's mine. And it's really past time of just owning that, being honest about that. And it's in truly recognizing not my part of it, not my part of the blame or whatever, but the effect. Looking at myself as a 6-year-old, a sweet girl. Just the love and the compassion and the love that I've been able to give to myself and feel for myself and walk into for myself has been stunning. And it's that I think is the balm, and it's that's the rocket fuel that helps me to stand up and push that thing. So that's what I want to say. It's a great day. I feel, a little bit of fear bubble up thinking about some of my situations. And I think that's that quotient of, what do I choose to focus on? Not some airy-fairy, everything's going to be fine kind of thing, because that's just bullshit. No, it comes from somewhere deeper. It comes from looking at what I have survived so well. And what I have become. And looking at my pocketbook. And realizing I don't have to pay full price anymore for things that actually cut me, slap me, shut me down, or turn me off. Why would I do that? I don't need to anymore. Compassion, 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 compassion. And as I've said, compassion, when it comes on me in the past and now, it is a physical experience. There is a heart squeeze. There is it's a physical event. And it is a flip all its own. To be able to stand in compassion for anyone, any situation, and to get to the place where I can see myself in some sort of totality and approve, celebrate, stand in awe of, feel inspiration from. Well, that's quite a treat. I'm pleased about that. And I wanted to share it with you because it's a threshold of sorts, I think. Well worth marking. And as is this artificial thing we do when we tinker with the time. Now we have more light in the dark, in the nighttime. And this heralds spring for my brain. And of course the festival season, but summer as well. And anymore, I really, really like these seasons. I didn't like them before. I like to hunker down. But now, boy, I can hardly wait to get on my big old shorts and my sandals and just be me. I feel so much more me during this time of year. I feel happier, lighter, and I'm not hopeless anymore. I was feeling so little hope and so ground down, and that has thankfully passed. I'm hoping that you are feeling relief, and if you're not, if you're going through a contraction, that you perhaps consider that it's not forever, that it's purposeful, and it is helping you push out some of the old stuff. And maybe when there's a lot of pressure, it's because the hole is little, and you gotta push down on that water or fluid and get it out of your tank so the new stuff can come. That's maybe what meditation is, just sitting down and releasing that bottom, letting it just drain out. It's really turning out to be about allowance, acceptance, and love. From this place, I am so safe. I am so protected, and I am so tended to. And it's better to mark these moments than the ones of deep confusion and pain. So here I am. Happy Monday, y'all. I hope it's a great week for each of us. And we're going to get closer to the equinox now. So that's pretty cool. Let's review the numbers for today, shall we? It is March 13. So that's 3 and 4 and 1. So it's a 4 and 4. I like to do the day and the month. The day is a 1-3. 13 to me is a very, very, very special number. It spells 4, but it means so much more than that. And so that's its own thing. Plus you add the month, and that's a 3. And a 3 and a 1 and a 3. Isn't that pretty? That's a 7, right? 3, 1, 3. Then you add one more. It's an 8. 3s and 1s today. So, new beginnings and the catalyst of love. Oh my. Oh my. So, I hope that this day finds you loved. I hope it finds me loved. I'm certainly loved from the inside out. Today and all days.